Bread and circuses. What does this actually mean? I've seen this quote being used in a variety of contexts. Some people think of it as a positive slogan for the beauty of circus and the simple life, but its true meaning is actually a little more sinister. The quote comes from a Roman poet named Decimus Junius Juvenalius, or in English, Juvenal. Juvenal was born around 55 CE. At this time, Rome was reigned by the Emperor Nero and the Roman Empire was prospering. Born into a middle-class family, Juvenal found himself joining the army. However, after failing to get a promotion to officer, Juvenal became cynical. He started to complain and write about the court's bias in who gets promoted. This ultimately led to his banishment from Rome. He was driven away to Egypt, possibly, where he lived for many years. In 96 CE, the emperor who had been responsible for his banishment died, so Juvenal returned to Rome and began publishing his most famous work, Satires. The Satires were a collection of 16 satirical poems, divided into 5 books that were issued roughly around 100 to 130 CE. They could be seen as a brutal critique of pagan Rome, corruption, social deviancy, and the general brutalistic nature of mankind. They are the source of many well-known maxims: a sound mind in a sound body, who will guard the guards themselves, and of course, bread and circuses. The latter comes from the satire X. Wrong desire is the source of suffering. So what does he really mean by this quote? The full poem talks about how easy it is to fall from power, referring to Sejanus, an extremely high-ranking individual, commander of the Praetorian Guard, advisor of the emperor, and at some point, practically emperor himself. However, before long, he was ultimately and suddenly executed for treason. He blames the mob of following Fortuna, the goddess of fortune and the personification of good luck. The full quote reads, "Long ago, the people cast off its worries. When we stopped selling our votes, a body that used to confer commands, legions, rods, and everything else has now narrowed its scope and is eager and anxious for 2 things only: bread and circuses." Democracy was very different at this time to what it is today. Around 100 years prior, Emperor Augustus claimed voting was wrecked by the Senate and solved the problem by abolishing voting altogether. The annona, or grain dole, had been an object of political contention for many years. Essentially, as a way to win votes, poor citizens were given free grain, which eventually turned into free bread. The circus at this time referred to the extremely costly spectacles, such as chariot races, gladiator fights, wild animal hunts, and the like. These events were the most likely places for a Roman to come into contact with the emperor, and became extremely important for morale, winning votes, and strengthening political grip. This is quite a poignant thing to think about and reflect upon as to how it applies in today's society. For example, over the period of the lockdown, there was quite a controversial decision at the time to keep football games going, despite much of the other entertainment and public services being restricted. I hope you enjoyed this video. Maybe it's been informative, possibly even taught you something you didn't already know. If it did, please leave me a like, comment letting me know what you thought, and subscribe for more videos like this. Thanks for watching, have a lovely day.